So, how the red pill leads to MAGA. And if you don't know, red pill content is basically misogynistic, typically racist content, very steered towards um, the I don't know if I want to say hating, but pretty much hating of women. Um, Basically, the theory that women run the world and men are just pawns in their game, and we just use them, to for our bidding and for our pleasure to emotionally torture. And so, red pill content really targets young boys hard, and this is like young boys, as in teenagers, junior high kids, because they get into it really young. I've even seen my own family members watching it on YouTube because it just comes across. And they learn this stuff early, and it's very conservative content. And if you don't know, an incel is a person who is defined as involuntary celibate because basically he says he can't get a woman because women are just so manipulative and abusive that that they just use men, so they can't find a good woman. It's one of those men who are always like, I can't find any good women, there's no good women out there, they don't like good guys. You hear that a lot. So red pill content, all
Um,
this steers you toward, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to ask Lizzie, in your findings, would you say they're more fundamentalist, like kind of Christian based, or no?
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that hardcore in the beginning. I think that's something that they steer towards as they get more, which I was about to say, gets more towards push towards conservatism and like the MAGA movement as we know it today. Because people who are deep into the MAGA movement, they aren't always, but a lot of them are, you know, Christian or really into, God's will, or this isn't okay because God or the Bible says it's not okay. Homophobia, transphobia, all of that is involved in this content. So, as you can see, why red pill people who get into this red pill content would be drawn to Donald Trump because he preaches all this stuff, right? About misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, racism, um, you know, treating women like objects. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah. The funny thing is, before I got onto this live earlier, I actually was on a live on TikTok with one of them, actually. So I got to see firsthand their thought process, and it was just fascinating. These, from what I experienced, I can't say all of them, but this guy was dug in deep. Like he was, there was no convincing him. Um, he did have one redeeming quality for me, that he was not happy about Trump's stance on Israel. So I'm wondering if that's something that has spread across their movement. And I asked him, would he consider himself a red pill individual? And he said, absolutely. And he was telling me that they have a movement on TikTok called the Brotherhood. Are you aware of this, or do you know about it? I didn't know about it.
I've heard, yeah, I've heard some stuff about that.
He said they do lives and they and panels, and if you're not in their quote brotherhood, you're not you're not invited in. They don't care. It's just for them. So I found that fascinating. Sorry about my dog.
From what I've seen, it seems like most men who become incels have had a traumatic experience with a woman. Either he was in love with her and she rejected him for some reason, or, I mean, like, I don't know, his mother didn't treat him right. I mean, something happened to make in his brain to be like, God, women suck. And, they're abusive or manipulative, or they just don't like me, for whatever reason. Maybe he was the nerdy, awkward guy in school and the girls never liked him. So then he starts to feel resentment towards females, and he starts getting into material or content that is geared towards, oh, women are evil, they're soul sucking, they're manipulative, they're just here to make us miserable. And that's how they get into the really deep rabbit hole of incel behavior, red pill content. It really gets gross. Let's just put it that way, and scary and disturbing, because I mean they will talk about anything from just women being horrible soul-sucking creatures to, a woman needs to be raped one good time or something like that.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. With the incels, is it okay if I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
In the research that you've done, do you think they are encouraged to choose to be an incel, or is it something that happens, do you think, due to circumstance, like you mentioned?
It seems like most of the time they really are those awkward um boys who couldn't get the girl or just felt ostracized by the community. A lot of times they may have personality traits or learning disabilities, or maybe even autism. They may be on the spectrum or something, which makes them more reclusive. So they're not out in society meeting people. Instead, they're at home. They're lonely. They're angry. And they get pushed, kind of into this because they start reading about it and get further and further into it. And the men who make content like this, they really do target the lonely men who feel rejected and they feel weak. And they try to like build them up like, oh man, women are evil and they're just manipulative. I know I keep saying that over and over. I'm sorry for repeating myself. But I mean, that's really what they push hard, is that, I mean, they'll say even your own mother, they'll start to point out instances where your mother did this or your mother did that. They are very anti-woman. And I'll tell you something else. Also in the workout community, like men who work out a lot, they start watching videos about training, working out. A lot of those guys are really into the red pill stuff. So they may start deciding that they want to work out some because they were, rejected by a woman. They're feeling bad about themselves. They start working out. They start, watching a lot of training content and stuff. And suddenly they're coming across these red pill videos and these incel videos, and they're sucked in. And any of you can put in any input or ask a question now if you would like.
I'm so sorry. I should have waited for the question part. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I said I should have waited for the question part. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Can I be honest? Glitzy, you're the
Yeah.
first person, you're the one that's telling me about this. I really didn't understand what it was. I thought y'all were changing the Kool-Aid to a red pill, honestly. So you're teaching me.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know.
Mm-mm.
Like, they don't, a lot of people don't know. A lot of women don't know.
Did you want to you add anything, Geo, Star, anything else?
Not right now. I'm listening. It's interesting.
Fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that told me about it, really. I didn't know that much until, and then I experienced that guy today, but it's fascinating to me. Really fascinating.
But it explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, um, all these MAGA supporters, I mean, all the toxic masculinity, like, they're just, egging each other on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've heard of Andrew Tate and, like Joe Rogan,
Mm-hmm.
Um,
personalities like that.
Glitzy, we have a request up. I don't want to do that without letting you know.
No, we're not.
It's Dakota, he's a friend.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, he's real strong on our side.
Okay, well, he was talking about opportunity, so I was making sure he wasn't like trying to sell us a scam.
Yeah.
Hi, Dakota. I need your age, and apparently, I guess you voted for Harris. Do you have
Yeah,
something to
30.
add to the
Yeah.
conversation?
No, I have a opportunity. It is political related, and I just wanted to say, tell it. I think it's kind of important. That's why.
Okay, I will give you 1 minute.
Okay, so I just got the opportunity to interview a whole bunch of upcoming congressional candidates. Uh, I just wanted to say that it's going to be we're putting it together now. I have no idea how it happened, but I think it'd be really important if people knew that that was something that was happening. Yeah, that's it.
Do you mean that for protester? National, come off mute.
What did you say?
Oh, I had the whole spiel and everything. You weren't listening?
No, I heard it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted people to know. But also, I'll
Are you
retract. Sorry.
are you going to have more information about that later?
Yeah, 100. There's a lot of stuff that's still being thrown together. Um,
Okay.
I got some
This
campaign. Yeah, they're campaign
yeah,
managers talking to each other.
let me know if I can help. While you're here, we're discussing an actual a really important topic, a phenomenon, how the red pill has affected young YT men. Did you have anything
Oh,
you want to add since you're here? It's actually fascinating. It's really, yeah. So if you can, Dakota, after you're done, stick around because this is a really important live she's doing, and I didn't know about it until she brought it to my attention, but. I don't know if you heard earlier, she was talking about how they've kind of formed, it's share it real fast if you don't mind, Glitzy. Is that okay?
Again. Do you know
yeah.
much about red pill content, Dakota?
No, not really. I tend to stay in my lanes as much as possible. I'm really kept in.
Yeah. It's basically men. You know what an incel is?
Yeah, that one I have heard. I have played Call of Duty before. Yeah.
Yeah. Incel.
Autumn, just so you know, Autumn's
So
requesting. That's up to you, though.
okay.
Sorry,
Incels
Dakota. I didn't mean to
are
interrupt you
really
guys. I'm sorry.
into okay. Incels the red pill content is what, like gets them all into this movement and this mindset. And it's basically teaching that women are just manipulative, that we actually hold all the cards. We run the society, and men are pawns in our game. We're manipulative, we're wicked, and men are often they often are pushed into this because they are feeling rejected by a woman. They're feeling lonely, they're feeling angry, they're feeling weak. And that's these red pill content creators, they target these kind of men who are vulnerable.
So, and I just want to make sure I have this right. We're talking about men think that women actually control everything, right?
Right.
Like that men think that women have caused so much pain and suffering across the world all throughout history.
Right. Yes. Because
Okay.
most of these men they're in complete denial that that the white straight male is guilty of anything.
Huh.
Isn't it
Well,
fascinating? I told you.
uh I'm going to need a moment to fully process everything that I heard. That's let me I think I'm losing. I think I'm having an aneurysm. I don't know. Let me. There's no way people think this, right?
It does make you start to leak brain cells.
There's this has to be satire.
Mm-hmm.
There,
No.
there's no way. There's just
Yeah.
not. Nah, quit
If
playing
you
dog.
if you sit on any political lives of late, you will see it and it'll blare right in your face. You
Oh,
might you might be blind to it, but yeah, no, it's blaringly obvious that that's an issue coming on with mostly younger individuals.
no, here's the thing. I don't even think I'm blind to it. I think I react to it the exact same way every time.
Yeah. It's like Star said, unless you're aware of it, this kind of gives us a new perspective and kind of understanding where some of these guys are coming from, and how deeply dug in they are.
I hate that I can process that, and I hate the fact that that sounds logical, and I hate the fact that I have to think about this. This is crazy.
Exactly.
What?
And let me just read Malik's comments. Down in the chat, we've got Malik commenting, and he said, Trump speaks to conservatives more. I'm not even white, but I'm 26. I hate to say it, but red pill content is just people speaking the truth about society.
I think my favorite top Malik comment here um, is probably. Hold on, where was it? Where was it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Is no way that's how you translate it. No, I think I summarized the entirety of what she said very, very well in those few short words that I said. I think I encapsulated the concept pretty goddamn good.
Mm-hmm. When you're ready, Glitzy, just so you know, I did actually extensive research on the history of it, and it gets even crazier. It's even so. Buckle up.
The fuck you
Okay, great.
mean buckle up? I'm sorry for the language. Sorry. This is I'll contain
This is
myself.
going to be on YouTube, so we have to be really careful what we say.
Okay, I didn't know it was going to be on YouTube. I will 100% watch my language.
Thank you. I had to do the same.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult, but I got it. I'm a mature adult and I can handle this.
Malik, I would love to talk to you about this if you can keep it civil and, like we said, try to keep it clean. I would love to have your point of view on this because I would like to hear from a person who I would consider to be red pill. And if you think I'm getting something wrong, I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. So I'm going to extend you an invite. And like I said, when you come up here, I'm going to need your age. I want to know who you voted for, and then I need you to keep it civil, please.
We got to make
Let's
sure we
give
stay
him,
on mute, National.
Oh yeah.
let's give him a minute and see if he wants to come up.
I'll mute if he gets up here. I promise, and I'll stay muted.
I'm not guaranteeing I'm muting, but I am censoring myself.
Me too. How do you say that guy's name? No tar. I can't even say it.
Notarilus?
Yeah. Thank you for gifting Glitzy. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Hello, Autumn.
Hello, sweetheart.
Okay, while we're waiting on Malik, do you have anything you want to add to this?
John's in the QE. He's MAGA. John Kurtz.
Ooh.
Autumn.
I've been with him before.
Repeat that, please.
I said,
I'm
did
sorry.
you want to add anything to this before I bring upstairs?
Honestly, I don't know as much about this as you guys, so you're teaching me some new information as well.
Autumn, what are your honest to God opinions on this as you know it right now with the knowledge that you have at this moment?
Oh, all of this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Okay, y'all. My mods, I need you to keep your finger on the mute button. Bringing John up. John, keep it civil. I need your age, who you voted for. And like I said, please keep it civil, keep it clean.
If I gotta say it, Trump.
Okay, what's your age, please?
I said 55, young lady.
Sorry, we didn't hear
I'm
you.
sorry, what?
Okay,
55.
my bad. Well, then, 55, 5'5".
Okay. You're a 55-year-old male that voted for Trump,
Yep.
right? Okay, do you have anything that you'd like to add about this?
Well, I jumped in late. You said how the red pill leads to MAGA. What's the red pill?
Red pill content is content that's conservative. The main mindset of it is that women are manipulative and that men are just pawns in our game. Men need to be strong, show their dominance, very conservative mindset.
I don't believe in that because my wife is a strong woman and I can't tell her shit. And I wouldn't try to
You,
because she
John. Do
has her
not
own
cuss.
opinion.
John, do not cuss. This was going to be broadcast on YouTube. No foul language
I
at
didn't
all.
know that. Sorry.
Thank you. Go ahead, John.
My wife is a strong woman, and I'm not ever going to try to tell her anything. Number one.
Okay, well, how is your view about her? Does your wife, if you don't mind, does your wife work?
Yeah. I work 16 hours a day. She works 8.
Okay, in the hierarchy in your house, do you believe women should be subservient to men?
No, I do not. As a matter of fact, I'm probably subservient to her because I uh, do whatever she asks me to do when she asks me to do it and have no qualms about it. That's subservient? No. What the hell is that? that has nothing to do with marriage or anything else. If you're in a true relationship, subservient isn't even an issue, ever.
So would you say you two are pretty equal?
Yeah, not pretty equal. We are equal. She's probably better than I am.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. What? Tell me why you voted for Trump, please.
Why I voted for Trump? Uh, okay. I will not be like the rest and say uh deportation number one. I'll say the tariffs are a good thing because uh all these other countries been tariffing the shit out of us, and we haven't. We've been laying back, being lax, and not retaliating. Um, well, Trump has said enough is enough, and these tariffs are being put in place. And what happened when Trump put these tariffs in place? He is. You see, a lot of people don't understand tariffs are a bargaining chip. And when Trump implemented the tariffs against Canada and Mexico, what happened? Mexico and Canada caved. Mexico said, okay, we'll secure the borders, and Canada is like, okay, well, we can't deal with this. So
If
I'm in favor of the tariffs, and it's not us taxpayers that pay these tariffs. It's if you buy foreign or whatever, then you pay it. But I don't buy foreign stuff. I buy all American stuff, so I'm not affected by the tariffs.
Well, let me ask you this. If Kamala Harris put the same, if her plan was to put these same tariffs into place, just like you're talking about, would you have voted for her?
You know, young lady, I wouldn't vote for that woman if she was the last candidate on earth because of her time in or in
Oh, where'd he go?
He does that from time to time. I think
Oh,
he does drives a truck, so sometimes his Wi-Fi will go out. So it's not something he does on purpose. It just happens.
Damn, he was doing so good. He was doing
yeah.
so good. He started out so strong. I ain't gonna lie. I think we were all rooting for him for a solid second. Okay,
Yep, yep.
I think we
Yeah,
were,
I just,
and I was this close to giving him a free pass. I'm like, you know what? You're good. You're good for now. And
I
then he
think
kept talking.
I think the older MAGA. Do you agree, Glitzy? The older MAGA kind of are in the same lane. I think from my experience. Would you agree, or what do you think?
yeah, that's what I was about to point out because red pill content, it really got bad, in the like early 2000s. So, men his age would not have been so like affected by it
Yeah,
as much because they were not on the internet. They didn't grow up watching this stuff on the internet.
there he is.
So yeah.
What
So
he was
that I
about to
mean,
say was
we
going to
we
be
know that red pill, and I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that before. Was that red pill content? It typically, it targets young men, and typically men through their 30s are the ones that are what we consider to be red pilled.
well. He was about to say something very red pill esque.
Yeah. So John, hello, you there? John, you back? I don't know if he's back.
John,
Okay, he may. I don't know.
John?
But yeah, I asked him that question about Kamala because it's the misogyny, right? Even if
100%.
Yeah, even if he doesn't view his wife that way, it doesn't mean that misogyny did not play a huge role in the way he voted.
I don't think he's going to see it as misogyny, though. It's more of the content that he saw of what Kamala was doing.
Oh, of course not. It's not going to be, he's not going to see it from misogyny. So, Protester,
Yes.
while we're waiting on John to come around, do you want to tell me what you found about the background of this?
Yeah, it actually took me down a rabbit hole, which I know sounds funny considering what we're talking about. But um, so I found that it goes back to the early 2000s. So then I did a little more digging, and the timeline for the red pill movement, it began picking up during the Reagan era. During the Reagan era, it was underground. It was not organized, not really, but it started to beginning to form during the Reagan era. They were a little more. How do I say it? Not as, I guess, aggressive back then. But then, as time came uh, moved forward, and what's fascinating, Glitzy, is we have a podcast tomorrow about the Fairness Act. It traces right along with that act. It blew my mind. Um, the Fairness Act is kind of what got us into the mess with the fake news and things like that. But we're going to be going more into that tomorrow on the podcast. But um,
You mean the fairness doctrine?
yeah, sorry, fairness doctrine.
I was about to say,
Sorry.
is there something I
Um,
don't know?
no, yeah. So the fairness doctrine. So what happened is they kind of moved along with that, and it took a while to kind of gain as a movement. But they, like Litzy said, they're not really evangelical, but they do hold some evangelical. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess beliefs. Not they're not. They're not. Would you say they're hardcore about it and push those beliefs? Would you say? I mean, kind of. Would you, Glitzy?
Um, yeah, I mean they do.
In a different way, though, right?
But these guys who, okay, well, first of all, you're talking about back then, which we're just going to call that. I don't know if you saw a name for it, but I guess we'll just call that the misogyny
Yeah,
movement,
yeah. You're right.
unless you have a
And
different name
that's
for it.
yeah. That's the word I
Yeah,
was
because
looking for.
Red Pill came from the movie The Matrix.
Yeah,
So that was in 1999. So it's not
but
technically Red Pill back then, but it's what
yeah,
led us
yeah.
to this.
Yeah, that's where I was heading with it. That's where they kind of started forming. Then exactly, then we would have called them misogynistic, and that's why they weren't really organized, but they were kind of conversing with each other. They began conversing and kind of sharing their upset and their anger about different things, and then once that movie came out, it went full on, and the movement kind of grew alongside how the evangelicals kind of they that whole America First thing, how that formed. If you look that up, it the red pill movement really started gaining ground when that America First thing also took, and then when the religious evangelicals really started kind of fighting for this and pushing that, and pushing for Bibles in school, and the Ten Commandments, and all that. So, but now today, what really took me down that rabbit hole is they're very, very, very organized. They have 4chan, they have text groups, they have a whole community here on TikTok. They're a huge community on X. Of course, they're on Untruth Social. They're on that one. So, but it was just mind blowing how they went from misogyny during Reagan and how quickly, once the timeline started, and And it really does. It goes right alongside with evangelicals, that America First thing, and then they're right beside it. They all kind of at the same time, which I think kind of gives an idea of how kind of how we're at now, wouldn't you say? Like how deep and serious it is. You know how they go kind of ballistic on TikTok.
Exactly. Yes.
I hope I made
Yes.
sense. I haven't had sleep. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like everything that happened up until the early 2000s has just fueled this to where red pill content. Sorry, y'all, I can't talk. Red pill content creators have jumped on this, and like I said, I don't think they really focus on Christian
Yeah.
values or anything per se, but I just think it kind of becomes that, especially as I notice as people age, they seem to get more into religion.
May I
So
ask
I'd say,
you? May I ask you a question about it? Is that okay?
mhm.
Would you say that in your opinion, from the research you've done, do you see an end to it, an end separate from the absolute collapse of Trump, which we know is inevitable? But beyond that, do you see any other end to it, or do you think it'll just continue to grow?
I wish I could say I saw an end. I don't know.
What's that?
I said I wish I could say there was an end that I could see how. I mean, really, it's about monitoring what your kids are watching and really being like having those conversations with them so that they're not getting the wrong ideas and, building up their self esteem naturally so that they're not depending on, I guess, women and being rejected or whatever. Like that doesn't make or break them, which I think we could say the same for girls, young girls, because I mean, I grew up thinking, if a guy didn't like me, then I didn't have value. And I
Yeah.
think, there's a lot in this society that we need to work on as far as talking to our kids and understanding, that you don't need a significant other to give, to make you valuable.
That's a very important message. It really is.
Right. And I was going to mention, like, to me, another fascinating thing about this is the fact that women have so much internalized misogyny, like MAGA women. And, like, like, why are they jumping on this, Why are they okay with somebody like Trump who says such horrible things about women, who has been accused and convicted in civil court of assault of a woman? And, you know, they're always, I mean, not just him, I mean, there's a lot of people out there, figures who have been convicted or accused of some kind of assault that women, get behind, and they're like, no, no, he didn't do it. She's lying. And I mean, we can't forget the treatment of Kamala Harris during the election and the way. I'm so sorry, y'all. Hold on. Okay, silence my phone. We can't forget the treatment of Kamala Harris during the election and how women, not just men, women really harped on her, called her, derogatory names, accused her of sleeping her way to the top. All of that is internalized misogyny, and women have a lot of it. And the red pill men who get out of this incel stuff and are, I don't mean get out, but I mean like who aren't like full incel, that are actually able to get a date and who are able to find a woman to put up with him, that do go on to get married. Like, why are the women putting up with this? And I was reading that women, a lot of women, like, put up with this stuff because if they go along with it, they can still have some kind of control in this misogynistic society. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because the two that I know that I'm related to that very much go along with it, they are very, very strong women, and you would never think that they would go along with this. And they are exactly what you're saying. And it's just shocking.
Exactly. It's
Does
it's
anybody
weird.
else want to add to that? Go ahead, Alton. Awesome.
No, I agree with everything. 100%. Everything you said was correct. Yeah, Glitzy and Star. I think it is
Well,
a.
it's just like,
I
go
think
ahead.
it just, the more you dig into it, the more you find, and it's just one big rabbit hole. Pretty scary.
Yeah, well, it's just like, and I wish John had stuck around so I could talk to him more, but without
He's
knowing everything, I'm going to use him as an example. John, are you there? Because I'm about to use you as an example. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say what I was going to say. Hold on just a second. You.
I think maybe he's asleep.
I don't know
he,
what happened. I might need to disconnect him and just let him come back up when he's able.
yeah.
Okay, so men like John who says, "No, my wife runs the household. My wife, I can't tell her anything, blah blah blah." So, I just wonder, is his wife one of these who buys into the misogyny so that she has agency in her own relationship and in her own home?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just my assumption. I'm not saying, John, you are feel free to come up here and talk to us about it. But a lot of times in these relationships where you do see a woman who's a really strong, Southern woman, I'm in the South, but they are the ones with the most freaking internalized misogyny. And I mean, so it makes sense that they would buy into it to get the favor of men so that they can maintain control and still have a voice. And you know who I'm thinking about right now? Who am I thinking about? The women in the White House, right?
Yep.
Caroline Levitt, that Laura,
Lee,
yeah, my name,
Laura Loomer.
Lembert.
yes, her. Um, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hmm.
All of those prominent conservative women are having to buy into this misogyny so that they can maintain a voice.
Pam Bondi.
Yes. So if y'all have any thoughts, you can go ahead and say that.
I'm honestly shocked at them. And like you said, some of those women seem very strong, which is very weird. And just like you said, Glitzy, I think that's their way of keeping some sort of like strength and saying that they're, with the rest of them. It's very weird.
I know it's like you have to sell a piece of your soul in order to have a seat at the table.
There's a MAGA world requesting up,
Okay.
and a Micah Clary. They both look like they might be MAGA. Micah Clary looks young.
Okay, I'm gonna bring MAGA World up. MAGA, state your age, and I'm pretty sure who you voted for. And please keep it civil, keep it clean. Is he? Okay, do I have MAGA Mobile tonight, or is it the other people? I just need to know why these people aren't loading today.
He looks like he's just there. He is.
And he's gone. That was
Yeah,
fun.
I don't think he really wanted to join. I think he was.
There he
There he
is.
is.
I apologize. How are we doing, guys?
Hello.
Hello,
Good
can
evening,
I have
sir.
your age?
So, how come the red pill leads to MAGA?
Okay, I'm gonna need your age, please.
Okay, so talking to you. So,
Okay. Yeah.
It's exactly why he just proved a point.
Yep, and I hope your job sees you because you are now YouTube famous.
Yep. And that guy
MAGA,
was MAGA World.
beware, MAGA. This will be on YouTube.
I'm gonna report this guy real quick if y'all just give me a minute.
Yes, I could tell when he was teacupping, he was up to something.
What is up with them saying that word? Like, I've heard it 9 times today. No, sorry, 11 now.
We talked about it
Yeah.
in a live earlier. The
Yep.
same exact thing.
It's really dumb. TikToks. Like, I want to report this guy, right? But the only options it gives me is that I don't like his bio, I don't like his name, I don't like his username. I mean, what? I don't like what he said. Why can't I say that?
Usually it has a hate speech on there. Does that not show up?
Not on mine.
I'm going to look.
Micah, if you get any ideas about that, I'm gonna drop you in a heartbeat.
I'm ready.
Um, yeah, y'all keep your fingers on the mute button. I'm gonna need your age and who you voted for, and don't you dare say a slur. And I'm sorry to judge you by your peers, but hey,
Where is he? There he
he's
is.
coming up.
It's all good. I'm 21, Pennsylvania. I voted for Trump.
Thank you. What do you think about what we said so far?
What exactly is the red pill? If you don't mind me asking.
Red pill content is probably, if you voted for Trump, how old you say you are?
I'm 21.
21. Probably the kind of stuff you've been consuming. It's very misogynistic content geared to, I'm sure you don't believe in this term, toxic, um, toxic males, the manosphere. Have you heard that word?
No, does it relate to toxic masculinity?
Exactly.
Uh,
What do you think about toxic masculinity?
I think it's a thing, and I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. It
So
exists.
you do think it's a thing?
Yeah, can be. Like racism can be a thing too.
Okay, I agree with you. Why did you vote for Trump?
Because I'm tired of seeing our country being taken advantage of, and I
Who's
don't want
taking it?
Biden let us be taken advantage of. We were sending money to
By
all these different countries for stupid stuff. Like I'm just talking about like U.S. aid, but the biggest thing is that Ukraine-Russia war.
I'll let you
yeah.
know again, Glitz. I'm being very nice right now.
Sorry, Gio. What was that?
I said I'm being very nice right now.
Well, do you have any questions for Micah?
No, I have corrections, but I'm being nice.
You can correct me. That's what I'm here for.
It's not part of the topic. That's the reason why I'm being nice.
Well, you are
Well,
being respectful, Micah, and I appreciate that. I really do.
where did you hear about that Biden was giving too much to Ukraine or whatever it is you heard? Where did you hear that?
I mean, it's all over the news. Like right after when President Trump was president-elect, right before he got in the office, they sent what 200-something odd billion to Ukraine.
May I go off topic for 2 seconds?
Sure.
You do realize that the monies, and I'm putting air quotes up here, wasn't monies that was sent to Ukraine, right?
What was that? Sorry.
The monies, and I'm using air quotes, that was sent to Ukraine was not monies, right?
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
It didn't come out of our taxpayer dollar?
It came out of our taxpayer dollar, but it was also used to open jobs for U.S. citizens, to restock our stockpile of boom booms that we deemed out of date and were going to be pretty much thrown away already as it was.
So instead of maybe reselling it within the country, you just send it away?
We can't resell it. It has to be destroyed. So what we did was we sent it to aid an ally instead.
Did we send money or did we send military equipment?
Military.
I know we sent both, but we still sent.
The mass majority of it, the billions that is posted, is the monetary value of said equipment. The majority, they had no reason for money. They didn't need money. They needed aid, and we sent the aid.
And a lot of that stuff sent could also help their old equipment.
It also helped us to test equipment that we'd never be able to test because it was out of date.
So we sent equipment to Ukraine that we didn't even know would work properly to fund their war.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, if their goal is to aid another country in a war that they were losing, would it be important to make sure that stuff is working?
Well, the thing is, Ukraine wasn't losing. It's a standstill, and it still is.
Oh no, Russia is running through them.
What news?
They cannot win that war. They're fighting a losing battle. That's why the war shouldn't have been started in the first place. And Kamala did not help with that when she went to Munich and proposed that they should be part of NATO. Because a few days after that is when the invasion started.
Oh my! I'm going too far off topic. I can't go any further. Glitzy.
Yeah. I was going to ask if Kamala didn't want to send any money or aid to Ukraine, since that seems to be your main gripe with the Biden administration and everything, would you have voted for her?
No.
Why is that?
Because my opinion, I just think she's an absolute lunatic and she's way too liberal for me. I've been conservative my whole life. Just didn't have any plan.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, she was, I don't know which news source, she was interviewed and she was asked the question of how are you going to bring down inflation prices of groceries and gas, and she could not answer it.
Wrong.
She sat there.
Was that an accidental kick?
It was an accident.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
He's still here. He's still here.
No, I accidentally muted him. I meant to mute myself. So, I'm so sorry, Micah. Go ahead.
In that interview, she backtracked and she said, "Ooh, yeah, prices are high, and we just have to figure out how to do it. She's like stuttering. I was like, and also, I don't think when she had Meg Thee Stallion go twerk on stage at a rally, that's not a very good part for a politician that's trying to be president to do that. So,
May
moral
I ask you?
place.
I'm sorry, Micah. May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did her being female have anything to do with that at all?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Are you single or are you in a relationship?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm a bachelor, single.
Do you think women should be able to work?
Yeah.
Do you think it should be pretty equal in the home?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Glitzy, we have two requests up. One is Christo, and the other one is MAGA.worldforever215.
Bet you anything, it's that MAGA world. We're not letting him up.
You might
Yeah,
say we're.
he seems a little. He doesn't seem like he'll be like Micah.
No, it might be like that. It might be like the same dude with a different account. You never know.
Yeah.
So, Micah, really what we're talking about is misogyny and the way it plays a part on young men like yourself and on society as a whole and politics. And what is your view about that? I mean, what do you think about? That's why I asked you, do you have a girlfriend? Do you think it should be equal in the home? What do you think about the misogynistic views? And do you think Trump is misogynistic?
Personally, I don't. No, I don't think Trump's misogynistic.
Okay, when I say that we live in a misogynistic society, do you believe that?
I don't know. It kind of depends. Like, is there a recent example of it in our society? I mean, I'm sure there is.
I mean, my example would be Trump, but you don't think he's misogynistic. So I'm interested in why you think he isn't.
I could answer that question better if you could tell me why you think he is.
That's fair. So let's see. Well, the way do you, okay, you say you're 21, so gosh, how old were you when he ran against Hillary?
Ooh, 13, 14.
I
Yeah.
guess you weren't paying much attention back then.
That's when I started to get into it.
Yeah. Okay, so do you feel like, have you heard much about Eugene Carroll? Do you know much about that case?
Who?
Eugene Carroll, the woman that he was accused of raping.
Oh, like way back when in like the 90s or something.
Yes, and he was found civilly liable.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's false. I think she's lying
Okay, but why do you think that?
because being a billionaire like Trump, I'm sure there's people who envy and hate him and want to bring him down any way possible.
Well, what if I told you that when a woman accuses a man of assault, we should always take that seriously. I'm not saying it's always true,
Okay.
but we should always take that seriously, look into it, investigate it, be cautious about that until we can say that it's not true. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
essentially, believe all women until we don't have a reason, until we have a reason not to, basically. What do you think about that?
I think that should go for anyone, man or woman. Believe them until they're proven wrong. Just like in a court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yes, that's true. But what did I? Okay, so I just said a woman accuses a man. They go on a date, and she accuses him of assault. If we believe both of them, then it's hard. Do you see what I'm saying, Micah? Like, we should take allegations from women seriously every time.
Yeah.
So you believe that?
What
Oh,
happened? What happened?
nobody talking. I don't know. I guess he left.
You still
I
got
was like,
Matthews. You have Matthew Stryker in the QE.
okay. Okay, I'm assuming he's a friendly, but for caution, keep your finger on the mute button. Matthew, I'm gonna need your age and who you voted for. Please keep it civil, keep it clean.
Yeah, this will be on YouTube, just so you know, Michael or Matthew. Sorry.
And for the record, Micah disappeared. So just when I felt like maybe we were I don't know. I really don't know. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
How are you? What is
I
your age and who did you vote for?
I'm 41 and I voted for Kamala. I was just really intrigued how that last person that got dropped had no clue what Trump got convicted of.
He dropped himself. Yeah.
Oh, he dropped
Yeah,
himself?
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
yeah, I think he ran, honestly.
So he didn't know that
And
Trump was a convicted rapist.
Rapist.
I
Great.
believe rape.
Rapist.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry. I know I keep forgetting about these rules.
I think he was too young, too immature to understand
Yeah,
anything.
he said he was 19, so it was just like he probably is just regurgitating everything his dad told him.
He was 21. Yeah, I was going to ask him. I mean, he said that he was always been conservative, so I assume he grew up in a conservative household.
I guess
Just
I'm just I guess I'm just blessed that every time growing up, so being 41, I remember asking in like 1996, asking my parents who they voted for, and my mom like berated me and being like, none of your business, figure it out for yourself. And every single election was just stop talking to us about politics, figure it out for yourself. And I just went out and learned. Like, I don't have any type of political like leanings from my parents, but I feel like nowadays all of these kids that are coming up here, and I say kids because I'm sorry, 21-year-olds right now, they're kids. And they're basically taking on the political leanings of their parents because they were told to think that way. I was told to just go out and learn. I'm like that. I'm like that Gen Z millennial mixture, like kind of in the middle, like where the internet wasn't a thing, and then all of a sudden the internet was a thing, and then my parents told me not to believe everything on the internet, and then it turns out that I had to tell my parents that they should stop believing everything on the internet because they're boomers. Like, it's just such a weird combination of all the generations of how they think. Like, it's just weird to me that I have to tell my like dad, like, can you just not do that? It's
yeah,
not true. It's not true. And he's always just like, well, he was never been on Facebook a day in his life. And I'm just like, don't ever believe anything on there. I remember do you remember like back in like the early 2000s, there was a meme of Abraham Lincoln that said don't believe everything you see on the internet? I don't know if anyone else
I
remembers
do.
that.
Yeah, I do. I remember it.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Like that is like the representation of every geriatric white boomer on Facebook right now. It's like you are doing exactly what you told us not to do. And we're telling you not to do what you told us not to do.
Exactly. My mom is bad about falling for scams.
So it's 11:15 my time. Do you want to keep the topic going, or do you want to just do open mic now? It's up to you.
I was gonna see what sorry, Matthew had to say about the whole thing. Do you know red pill men?
Like, are you going down like Matrix red pill or
Yeah, like men who consume a lot of the Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate content.
like my,
Very-
well, those are, that's a juxtaposition that I'd like to delve into. And I think you could write like a total, like, freaking thesis on because Joe Rogan contradicts himself all the time. He
Mhm.
will go from being like, Trump is our God and Savior to being like, this policy is terrible and he's going to destroy the country. I will never, ever take Joe Rogan seriously. There's no way you
Because
can. There's absolutely no way you can because he can't even take himself seriously because he will go from being like a rational individual to being a hyper partisan, like just really irrational individual to just back to being normal and then being like, you like my show? Like, it's just weird with him. Like, I don't even know how to wrap my mind around it. I feel like I have to, like, I feel like I need like a 400 level psychology course to understand Joe Rogan.
yeah, because that's because they're in it for the money. I mean, they know this stuff sells, and like the red pill content creators, they know that um, kids, teenagers, young guys like Micah there. I'm not saying
But
he does watch,
that's what makes
but
me sad
that
about this.
age group,
That's what
yeah,
makes me
that
sad
age
about
group
this is that
definitely felt it.
that age group is listening and they're seeing an irrational individual and they're being like, I like his ideas. It's like, why are we letting them even listen to him?
I think Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes are probably even more influential with the red pill MAGA than even Joe Rogan. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes,
I think they are even worse, but I will say, and I'm not giving a pass on this for Ben Shapiro. He he put a video out where he decimated Trump on the tariffs. And he came out completely against them, which I was shocked by. But I also, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is disingenuous because he's probably just using it to make money. Like, he's going to use people like them just use situations to make money. So they're going to see a situation, they're going to make a video, they're going to get views, they're going to get comments, they're going to get money from the platforms, and they're going to keep doing it because that's where the money is. They're not genuine. They're never genuine. They don't even actually believe the things they actually believe. I mean, I'm sorry. When Ben Shapiro, like 2 years ago, went from just being like a dude on the internet to starting wearing his yarmulke and like wearing it and like being like, this is where I lay with like the viewpoints on this and this on the Gaza Strip. he was wrong about all of it, but he had his yarmulke on, and it was just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And then you realize it's all for money and clicks. He does not care. None of these people care. They don't give a shit. They just want people to click and view it so that they make money. They do not care about any of it. It is all a ploy. It is all a grift. It is all just, I just, and even when Ben Shapiro decided out of nowhere that he's going to start wearing a yarmulke, like, what are you doing? Like, you never did this before. All of a sudden, now you're going to start wearing it. Now you're going to start doing this. Now you're going to start having this point of view. Where was this before? You didn't do that before. You never did that before. You're only doing it for clicks. You're only doing it because of what's going on in Jerusalem and in Israel and in Gaza. You're only doing it for that, to get clicks. These are horrible human beings. They're getting it, they're doing it to get money. These are horrible individuals, and you
I
should
agree.
not take them seriously.
I agree. And like National was saying, the Nick Fuentes, like after the AB bans came out, and he came out yelling, "Your body, my choice." I mean,
Oh, did
and
you
a
see
whole lot of
how fast he backtracked on that after he
yeah.
got like canceled?
But I
He
mean, at the same
backtracked on
time,
that
a lot of
so
young
fast.
guys, yeah, but a lot of young guys jumped on that, because I would be in lives and they would jump on there and just scream, "Your body, my choice." I mean, it was a catchphrase for them.
It's
They
just
loved
so
it. They ate
disgusting.
it
It's
up.
so disgusting.
It's like Felon's Smotsy salute. They tried to claim that was a Roman salute. There's no such thing as a Roman salute.
There is
It's
not. You are
no. It was
correct. You're
point
correct.
blank. It was Smotsy. Point blank.
Yes. He knew what he
Crazy.
was doing. He knew what he was doing. And now,
We sure did.
which I think is hilarious, when he went out and started, like, when Tesla went down like 50%, and he was like, Tim Walz was being mean to me, and I can't believe he did that to me. And that was so mean, and I can't believe it. That was so harsh, and that was so bad. It's like, you literally ruined hundreds of thousands of people's lives that were just doing the good work of our federal government. I work for the federal government. We do good. That is what we do every day. We make sure that we are protecting the welfare of the people of the United States. And when he was just like, he did this to me, it was so bad, it was so mean, like, what a jerk, he's just evil. It's like, well, no, Elon, you just fired like 50,000 veterans, you piece of shit. Like, you did how do we have to call it? We can't call it the N word. It's the fascist salute, and said all the things he said about federal employees. Guess what? These are just people who just go to work and do their job. They're not activists. They're not crazy. They're like just going to work and doing their jobs and being intellectuals and just doing good. And he put a bunch of 19 and 20-year olds, who, by the way, are not auditors. They're not auditors. They're just some people that put Chat GPT into a freaking search organization, like,
Language.
line.
Language. This is going to be
And,
on YouTube, Matthew. We got to watch our language. Sorry.
well, I don't think anyone's in disagreement that he just put a bunch of teenagers into a position to use Chat GPT
Yep.
And I mean,
You're right.
this is also the reason. I mean, are we really into a threat of the islands in Antarctica where the penguins are? Are we're gonna put tariffs on them? The penguins, the
You know,
penguins.
let's see.
All right, guys.
You
Appreciate
know,
you being with.
national.
What's that?
You know, national. I was gonna say, what we didn't even get into talking to tonight was the alpha and beta male thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
There's
we're
no
gonna get
such
in.
thing of either.
We're
There's no
we're gonna
such
get
thing of
in.
either.
We're gonna get on to, into that in our podcast because I'm pretty sure we're most likely going to do a podcast on this tomorrow. Um, we are getting
I'd
ready to
love to
close.
hear about it. What do you guys think is the
Hold on,
difference
guys. Hold on a
between
minute.
between an alpha and a beta?
Un momento, por favor.
What was that?
Sorry, Gina.
That was un momento, por favor.
Um, we're actually going to be closing this down pretty soon. So if everybody, we're going to go through and give everybody 1 minute. Sound okay, Glitzy?
Yeah.
Going to give everybody 1 minute to give their last thoughts. If you want to comment on what Matthew just said, we appreciate you being with us, Matthew. I'm going to start clockwise, if it's okay. Glitzy, we'll start with Geo. Final words, final comments.
My final words will be directed at our last panelist, the one that left last. Even though it didn't seem that he was taking that red pill, if you actually read into it, he was part of the red pill movement in a way.
Exactly. Yes.
Anything else you'd like
Because
to add?
Nope, that was it.
Just want to let everybody know in the chat and on the panel, Gio is a very talented artist for our side. If you like any artwork done or a T-shirt, he has very reasonable rates. If you can go ahead and post that in the chat, Gio. Very, very talented artist. And now I'm going to go to Matthew for your final thoughts, and then we're going to get to the beautiful ladies. And I mean that respectfully.
Yeah, there's no such thing as alpha. When it comes down to it, it comes from like wolf packs and things like that. And actually, alphas are submissive to what they do. So it's kind of funny when people call themselves that. So I just think it's absolutely hilarious when people call themselves alphas.
I
And I
agree.
was going to add that there's no, that wolf packs actually don't have an alpha either.
They do
Yeah.
not. They do not. And it
Any
does
last
not make any sense. It makes no sense when people use that phrase. It makes no sense.
last things you'd like to add, Matthew?
Yeah, Trumpers are anti-intellectual. Like they don't understand like words or economics or laws or the Constitution. They don't get any of it. They're just petulant children.
Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to go to my beautiful friend, and by beautiful, she is a beautiful person. So I mean that respectfully. Star, would you like to give your last thoughts?
I just want to say thank y'all to Glitzy and you, National and Geo. Y'all taught me patience and kindness. Like, because it really is hard when you listen to these people about the red pill. It really is hard to listen to these guys. So thank you.
You're welcome. Want to let everybody know that myself, Glitzy, and Star will be doing a brand new podcast very soon. Star will be doing a separate podcast with me called the Blue Hearts Movement. So be looking for that. Glitzy will be on with me tomorrow for the protesters' perspective. And now I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful host. Glitzy, thank you for all your hard work and hosting this incredible TikTok Live. Is very educational, and I, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10. So thank you so much.
Awesome. I get a 10. I hope y'all learned something today about this that you didn't know before, and that you can start being able to identify the signs in young boys, because they do target the young boys. And you will notice, like I said, we didn't get into the alpha, beta, sigma, which I don't even understand what a sigma is. But you hear a lot of the young kids, starting at like age 10, they say, "What the sigma?" Don't know what that means, but it's their catchphrase. I mean, they know these. They know alpha, beta, sigma. They know all these terms. They are getting red pilled at an alarmingly young rate. So you have to watch out for your children and make sure that what they're consuming is not red pill content, because it will get them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then finally, if I could, I want to let people know one more time. You can catch Glitzy with me on our show, the the Protesters Pulse. I got the wrong name. I don't even know my shows. Protesters Pulse. You can catch those episodes tomorrow. She is a co-host with me. You can also catch Star on our show, the Blue Hearts Movement, and then Star, Glitzy, and myself will be doing podcast for the National Protester. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to turn it back to the host. I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight.
My cats are fighting, so it's going to get really loud in here. But thank you all for being here. And like I said, I hope you learned something. And I just want to figure out ways to circumvent this so that more kids are not getting red pilled, and that if we can find a way to stop this. But I mean, the first step is talking about it, which is what we did today. And we're going to keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you, Glitzy.
Where we play our outro music.
Do not go gentle into that good night. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, joining us. Make sure you catch those podcasts I mentioned. You want to follow Glitzy Girl, get Glitzy Girl too. I can't talk. On TikTok, she also has Glitzy Girl. Follow her. She does great content. Star Action also on our podcast. She has a great live. Make sure you follow her. She has Star Action and Star Action 2. Geo is also on TikTok, so if you want to follow him, great guy, very intelligent, incredible art. He has Geo.
Pronounce your full name.
Yeah, do the shop for us real fast. I want to make sure we plug that for the YouTube listeners.
My shop is GOG.shop.
Did you want to mention anything about your art and any upcoming projects you're working on?
I mean, do you want me to add
Yes.
the one I'm doing for you?
Yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about that. I just want to make sure our YouTube listeners get a chance to know who you are and get a chance to look you up.
I do quite a bit of art for just randomly while I'm multitasking, so this is not working out too well.
That's right.
My camera is not working correctly.
There you go, folks. That is EDM for Democracy, one of our organizations he's working on. Tell him about that if you like, Gio.
It is EDM music for democracy. I am not the greatest spokesperson, just a little bit of art.
You want to show a few other pieces of art so any YouTube listeners can get a chance to maybe see some of the things that you can do. He does have the ability to do T-shirts as well as any other project, and the commissions are very reasonable.
The majority of my art lately has been protest art. I have my line of the lizard people, as you see, all of them depicted as lizard people. A little underwhelming on some of these. As I scroll through them quickly. Did you see the Jewish space laser?
All right, guys. Those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us. here at the National Protester on YouTube. I want to invite you back, let you know that we're going to be doing this just about every night on TikTok. As we are also on Clapper. So thank you again. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit notifications to make sure you do not miss all the upcoming material. Want to let you know also that we have the EDM for Democracy rally starting. Our San Diego location for the tour has sold out. Tickets are free. We have Phoenix coming up next. So if you are someone that wants to join this fun dance music event for democracy, just send us a message right here on YouTube or on TikTok, and we will make sure we reserve your tickets. I'm going to turn it back to the host and let her lead us out. Thank you all so much.
I'm just laughing at this artwork. Thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Star, National Protester, Geo, Autumn, Matthew, Micah. I can't remember who else. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us for this National Protesters podcast, hosted by Glitzy Girl and National Protester. Thank you to our panelists for joining us, and we hope you tune in for more content. Do not go gentle into that dark night, and don't let the bastards grind you down.